is happening, my friends? Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. I am your host, your friend, Arrington Gavin, coming to you with another great episodes. I appreciate it, my friends. Look, this is your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz. Look, we're diving deep and keeping it real. So kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. Look, my friends, on today's conversation, we're going to talk a lot of politics today. Last, I think we left off talking a little more in the sports realm. This time, we're going to open it up a little more with the political. Right, a lot of stuff has happened, is still occurring currently. Um, you have the Democratic Party in continuation to rebuild itself again after ferocious loss. It was a well-known just L that they took, and it was massive. So they're in the rebuilding stages. Also, we have what else we have next up? Um, More interesting names being mentioned into Donald Trump's cabinet, or has been named in the Donald Trump's cabinet. Also, a former NFL star who recently had a huge success as a high school football coach has most likely thinking about making a return to the NFL. So we'll talk a little more on that as well. And also, I want to play a soundbite because last episode I was talking about the whole white privilege thing, and so much stuff has come across my feed. I actually mentioned, I shared it on social media through our new platform, on the new platform we're on, Blue Sky, as well as Instagram, and just on Substack, as well as just the phrase white privilege. I said I was going to kind of ease off of it, but one thing I do enjoy when I have the opportunity to talk with you all is to just share what's, get I like to get stuff off my chest and share with you all, because look, this is a conversation. This is an avenue, a platform we can vent off to each other, and we can just have conversations, right? I don't try to spew stuff that is gaslighting. I try to spew stuff that we can all learn from and that can help us grow, forward moving, forward thinking. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna play that a little later on in the show. Before I go more in details, I just always got to thank you, all the listeners and viewers out there that continue on supporting the platform, taking the time out of your busy schedule to listen in and watch the Arrington Gavin Show. You could be doing so much other things with your precious time. The fact that you take the time out of your busy schedule to tune into the program, I appreciate it, because you don't have to, but I truly thank you. We are a growing platform. We got some new things coming ahead. We have some great guests lined up. We have some more great conversations, obviously, even great outlets and platforms that is in talks of getting us in front of more faces, and listening more ears. We try to expand our audience and our platform. So we truly uh thank you. And I say we because look, I have some folks behind the scenes that help me out with this. It's hard to do it just solo, but we do have a team of folks that I have to also thank too. So again, we say thank you. There's no I in team. So again, I say thank you. Also, before I get it going, I always have to acknowledge some of our proud supporters of the Arrington Gavin Show, like our friends over at Ingenious Gin. That's right. Who wants a good drink of that Ingenious Gin? Look, it is a black-owned, veteran-owned spirit with a unique spin of the original gin. This rose gold complexion gin is the go-to spot when it comes to celebration, fellowshipping with friends. And look, I am a bourbon and whiskey connoisseur, so when it comes to gin, it was never my preference. As I mentioned tons and tons of time on this program, it was never my preference until I had Ingenious Gin. And one thing here on the show, we support our vets. We also are big advocates when it comes to minority owned businesses, myself included, being a small business owner, minority owned business owner. Um, I know it's not always an easy process, especially in the spirit industry. Alcohol is a hard product to create, promote, sell. It's a lot to invest in. And I'm telling you guys, this is such a great drink. You can have it neat on the rocks, in a cocktail, you name it. It is so delicious. So do me a favor, go to your local spirit store or ABC store and grab yourself a bottle of Ingenious Gin. All right. And if you don't find it on there, look, no worries. You can go online to their website at www.ingeniousgin.com. Again, that website is www.ingeniousgin.com. All righty. Do me a favor, drink responsibly. You can only be you have to be 21 or over in order to purchase this. And if you are watching this currently, I have on the screen I provided a 20% off discount code at the bottom. So if you are if you are currently watching this episode right now, then look, you can save that code and be sure to because I'm not sure how long that code is going to be. So be sure to, grab yourself a bottle, put in that 20% discount code, and enjoy. Again, this is the gin of thinkers, my friends. Look, we're going to head to a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. You are listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. We'll be right back.
Order your beard care products with Rugged Evolution. We're your local beard care line that supports the maintenance of your full, mature beard. Our line includes conditioning shampoos, moisturizers, balms, oils, shaving lotions, and exfoliating soaps. These products moisturize, hydrate, nourish, and have all the natural ingredients for a healthy beard. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
What is happening, my friends? Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. I am your host, Arrington Gavin. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at the Arrington Gavin Show. All right, at the Arrington Gavin Show. You can also follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at the Arrington Gavin Show, and our newest platform, Blue Sky. That's right, Blue Sky. At the Arrington Gavin Show. You can also follow us on Substack. If you are familiar with Substack, it's a platform where, most people might publish their own articles or just, vent off long verbiage, information, details, notes, I don't know, just long standing posts. So, yes, we're on Substack now. And also, I think I forgot to mention. Look, multiple ways you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. We drop new episodes weeknights, Monday through Fridays. Wherever you get your platforms, whether that's on the streaming platforms of YouTube or Rumble. Our YouTube channel is R Smooth Club Media, the letter R and then Smooth Club Media, as well as on Rumble. You can also listen to us wherever you listen to your podcast, whether that's iHeart, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Odyssey, all major podcast platforms. Haiti is a Black-owned podcast app, so you can follow us there. There's multiple avenues you can follow us on, as well as on our radio affiliate, WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk out of the Metro Atlanta area. We air Monday through Fridays at 11 p.m. on WDJY 99.1 FM, as well as online at WDJYFM.com. So multiple ways you can tune into the platform. So Just got to throw those plugs in there before I move forward. All right, let's get it going with our tradition here on the show, our fun fact of the day. All right, so this upcoming fun fact, I want to let you guys know, did you know that during pregnancy, hair and nails grow faster? So when ladies say, look, I've had a terrible pregnancy, and they say they lost hair, that means they didn't have a, they did have some slight complications. But it has been said that during pregnancies, women tend to grow nails and hair a lot faster. Okay, they don't lose it, but they grow it a lot faster. Um, yeah. So I am I'm the grand uncle. You know what I mean? Not, well, not grand uncle, but I am an uncle. I don't have children of my own, so I don't know how that process goes. I am a baldy, so fellas are like, hey, look, well, what can help make my hair grow faster, or help my hair grow back? Come on, anything? No, nothing. All right. But that was just a quick fun fact here on the show. We always love to start it off with some, we always love to inform, not just entertain, but also inform, give y'all the knowledge. Because I feel as though, like, one thing that's at a loss at our society is the knowledge, right? We tend to watch a lot of things that just give you headlines. It's really quick. It's nothing to learning experience. Podcast is not bad. I mean, hey, I'm a part of that industry, but I just feel as though, like, I don't always make it fun and games. I want to make it informative for you guys. So that's why we enjoy doing our fun fact of the day. All right. So before I speak on some of our topics, well, actually, this is a part of our topics. Let's get it going. Last episode, I didn't have the chance to mention about a former teacher out in, let's see, Sullivan County schools. I'm not sure where Sullivan County is at. Uh, do, 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 do. Something comes from. Where is? Well, anyway, until I find the state that this was held in, a recent story that actually happened last year. And I'm not talking about 2024 last year. I'm talking about 2020. Well, like possibly 2023, maybe a little earlier than that. A teacher, a white male, had shared with his class that white privilege is real. All right. I can't remember if I mentioned this with you guys on the last one, but he had basically been let go because in his district, it was like, oh no, we're not teaching that. We're not teaching the whole critical race theory and this and that and the other. So he lost his job. A white male just basically said, look, reality, there is such thing as white privilege. And so that wasn't a good thing. So I'm following up with you on this case because he had recently fired teacher wins appeal against Sullivan County schools. Now, this is reported by Times News. Says here that Matthew Hahn, the 16-year tenure of Sullivan County teacher fired by the county school system, has won a major reversal victory in the Chancery Court. The case has drawn nationwide media attention, including reporting from the Atlantic Magazine, USA Today, and the Washington Post, as well as a support of Hahn from the authors of some assigned readings in his class. Now, the case included testimony about presenting various points of views in political leaning and foul language, all in a contemporary affairs class Hahn taught at Sullivan Central High School. White privilege was one of the topics addressed in class. Before I move forward, don't you guys wish, now I'm talking to the parents out there, or even those that just in general, one thing that I always, it's no regret, but I just wish that some of my past school teachers, elementary, middle, high, um, taught us realism. You know what I mean? Like, I felt as though, like, they had a requirement. Okay, this semester you teach them this, next semester you teach them that, you have this period to teach them these many different types of maths, these many different types of sciences, this stuff, and X, Y, and Z from history within this, like they're told. But does that help us in, in out everyday life? Does that help? Does that help us when we leave the school and get ready for society? Does that help us? My whole issue with education, like education is needed, right? I'm a huge advocate for it. I think without education, it's really hard to um, maneuver in life. I didn't say it hurts them. If you don't have education, you won't succeed. I just said it's hard to maneuver in life. Having a certain understanding this, with things. Education is key. You always need education, but when it comes to at least universities, right? Universities, and I'll even go because I want to, relate it to this story. Um, Elementary school and high school will rarely share realistic events that will occur in everyday life or realistic things. Um, I was fortunate. I had, maybe a handful of teachers that were just honest with us, right? Us students. I had one teacher that said, "Hey, look, don't ever let this, um, don't ever let this uh grade, don't ever let this grade from tests define the person that you're gonna be when you leave and graduate from here." See, the gentleman already spoke that into existence to us. He said, "Okay, you might have not succeed, you might not did so well on this test, but look, oh, you're gonna graduate. Oh, you're gonna succeed." Like stuff like that is what you need in everyday life. Um, Keeping you up to speed with what is occurring in our current society. This teacher right here was teaching white privilege. Why? Because it's a thing. Why? Because we live in a divisive society. It's not the fact that he's trying to have a political bias. No, this ish exists. It does. As I continue this conversation, it says here that the school has since closed, with the building becoming a middle school. Central merged into West Ridge High School along the with Sullivan North and Sullivan South High Schools. Hall was dismissed in May of 2021. So this tells you how long this case was, based on allegations or based on alleged grounds of insubordination and conduct unbecoming a teacher. Two, two grounds for teacher firings outlined in Tennessee law. Okay, now I know where it took place. Tennessee, red state. Shocker. But the judge has reversed the decision and ordered that he be reinstated. The school board is expected to decide to appeal in early January. Ruling. Oh, it says here that the chancellor, in a 65-page ruling filed recently, the Chancery Court Clerk's Office ruled the former director of schools, David Cox, who initially fired Hahn, and the Board of Education, which later upheld the firing, erred in terminating his employment. The ruling, which she initially had indicated in open court would come around, was based on an August hearing before Priester. Um, says here, actions of appeals, don't want to do that. Says here, and I quote, "The board is ordered to immediately reinstate Hahn with payment of his full salary without offset for the period of time since his suspension and subsequent dismissal is accordance with Tennessee Code Anecdote." Hahn issued the following statement: "Under advisement from counsel, this will be the only statement I am making at this time. I review the opinion of Sullivan County Chancery Court and am mindful and appreciative of the chancellor's careful consideration and thorough deliberation when issuing her ruling in my case. I remain grateful for the consistent support I received from family, friends, former students, colleagues, and partners in education and neighbors in my community during this past 3.5 years. The county has until says here mid-January to appeal Priester's ruling." Um, Again, my friends, what is the issue? Can y'all please explain that to me? What is the issue? I have another soundbite. I have a soundbite I want to play for you all because after sharing with you the story about Caitlyn Clark speaking out after being named Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year, and she spoke about how, look, I know I've earned every single accomplishment in my career. I've earned that on my own, but I must say that white privilege does exist. All she said is does exist. She didn't say she just said it exists, which so much respect for Caitlyn Clark for her to speak out. And she didn't have to. She's still a rookie. She didn't have to do that. She wasn't forced. That was her own personal opinion. I truly commend her and applaud her for saying that as a white female, as somebody that is at the top tier, especially when a good portion of your um, supporters, because they made into this huge debate thing. She has some conservative leaning supporters that was backing her up because I felt as though the whole her and Angel Reese was more like a Republicans and Democrats kind of thing. But let me play you this soundbite. Let me see if I can uh, grab it because it just explains how ignorant folks are and how uh, they are the true gaslighters that continue on this. They have their agenda. They have their agenda. I'll just say that. Let me go ahead and play you this soundbite. Let me bring it up for you. Dang it. Let me see if I can. There we go. So recently, conservative radio host Larry Elder, probably the name might ring a bell to some. He is a former gubernatorial Republican nominee. He is a long-standing conservative political commentator, Fox News mainly, but he's on everything now. He ran for president, very awful and crappy campaign. He's always been in my opinion, the the I guess he said it himself, the black face of white supremacy. That's been his words, not mine. He's always been on the defense of African Americans and people of color. He is a black man of himself, but guess what? He knows who pays him. He knows his audience. He's like, oh, I'm gonna continue to be the gaslighter. That's what I do. Because eventually, his discussions, his thought, they don't make any kind of sense. You hear me? Any kind of sense. Let me go ahead and play you this soundbite real quick, and I'll explain what how I feel about it.
Uncomfortable whenever I hear anybody talk about the intersectionality of this, that, and the other race. And start it over again. Let me hear that question again. This is Time Magazine interviewing her.
Your announcement for Athlete of the Year, like tremendous, incredible positive feedback. That's what we've seen across the board. There's always going to be some negativity. And I feel like you have had to answer more questions than anybody about the intersectionality of race and gender and sexuality in sports.
Okay. The intersectionality of race and gender and sexuality in sports. What the hell does that even mean? The intersectionality. Sigh. And she proceeds to say, I've worked for everything that I have, although there is white privilege. So which is it? Did you benefit from white privilege or did you work for everything you have? Now, a lot of people are upset because she's getting so much publicity because she's a superstar who happens to be white in a league where most of the players are black. As if white people aren't supposed to feel a certain sense of pride. When I was in college, one of the people in my dorm, friend of mine, white guy, loved him some Larry Bird. We watched a lot of basketball, and he would go crazy when Larry Bird would do something well, and Larry Bird always did things well. And he said, hey, Larry, white people have pride too. How often do you hear some black person say, in order to be it, you must see it? There have been lots of complaints over the years about the number of nominees for major categories for movies. And that's the argument. If you want to be it, you have to see it. I don't even know what that even means. So Jackie Robinson, who inspired him? Who did he see as a modern major league ball player before he became one? Black player. I mean, you have to see somebody, your race, your ethnicity in order for you to believe that you can do it. In 2024, I'm always uncomfortable.
I gotta shut him up. Let me tell you something, you jerk. This man really just makes my ass itch. Like literally, he just really he really irks me. And I try not to make it. I try not to bash people a lot on this show, right? I give my unfiltered take. I just try not to bash people. But Larry Elder is who I words can't describe how much I dislike this guy. But first thing he said was, well, what was it? Did you succeed off your white privilege or did you succeed off your talent? Whoa, what is it? What is it? Well, you're old enough, man. You're close to 70. You might be in your 70s. You're well aware that she did say that I know everything that I have achieved, I've earned without any form of privilege. She said that. What she's saying, Larry, is that white privilege does exist. Why is that? Why are people getting so butthurt over the fact that, like, there is no? Let me tell you something. Let me just share a little bit of what I posted on Substack uh about this. Let me try and find it. Let's see. All righty. So I want to read you this. I want to read you this. I posted, as a black man, seeing people dismiss the reality of white privilege can be disheartening, frustrating, and even painful. It often feels like a refusal to acknowledge the systematic disparities in the lived experiences of black people and others marginalized groups. Now, white privilege doesn't mean white people don't face struggles. It simply means their skin color isn't one of the factors making life harder for them. Acknowledging this privilege isn't about blame or guilt. It's about understanding the structures that have historically and presently benefited certain groups over others. Ignoring white privilege often perpetrates denial of the racial inequities deeply embedded in society, whether in housing, education, employment, the justice system, or daily interactions. For me, it's not just about proving it exists, but encouraging empathy and accountability to address the disparities. Look, y'all, no one is attacking white people when we talk about white privilege. This conversation can extend with the whole taking out African American studies in Florida schools because they don't want white children to feel bad for themselves. Why would they feel bad for themselves? They did not exist during that time. Now, some of their ancestors might have been on the opposing end, but that doesn't mean that that makes them bad. What it makes is the fact that you are here changing the narrative. The fact that we have grown since then. We have a lot more growing to do. We need to continue to push that narrative and educate ourselves when it comes to different cultures. We live in a world that's a melting pot. We have cultures from all different parts of the world. Look, there's privileges in different aspects, whether it's race, whether it's favoritism of a your uh the best athletes compared to the worst athletes, or the teacher's pet, like that exists all around. But this clown, because that's what he is, he's a clown. Larry Elder, say the name again, because the man has made millions of dollars of talking nonsense, gaslighting. That's what he does. He makes money off being a gaslighter. Everything he says is just to cater to his base, the base that is full of the paranoid. The It doesn't make any sense. This man tried to run for office, run for president of the United States, off of the I'm running for the fatherless homes. Really, really, really. You're gonna run for the highest office in the land and just say, "Hey, look, I'm running for the fatherless Holmes, a man that came from a two-parent household. Like, give me a break, dude. It's like, why, what are you doing? What are you doing with yourself? Go to Costco, grab a hot dog and whatever, and just go and play. I don't know, play some cards or watch The Price is Right or some other thing. Do something better with yourself, my friend, because all you're doing is continue to embarrass yourself the older and older you get. Then he continues on saying, um, "Oh, I had a friend, one of my good friends in college, white guy. He loved him some Larry Bird. Yes, he did. Um, what are we teaching here? What did he say? Did Jackie Robinson, did he have to you know uh, uh, uh model over? Did he have to have a black role model in order to think that he could succeed in Major League Baseball? Guess what? He didn't, Larry. First of all, that was years ago. Second, Jackie was given that gift to change the narrative so he can help break barriers. Remember, during his period, they had the Negro League. They were segregated. He might have had somebody of color that was his role model, or he might have didn't. It's nothing wrong with that. No one's saying that you have to have someone of the same race in order to say, okay, I can succeed. But guess what? It does help, because a lot of folks out there, they're like, well, look, I have my regrets. What this is, I don't think I have what it takes to compete. Guess what? It warms your heart when you see someone of your own race to accomplish so much when we live in a society that is so much against our culture. All right. They want to see our culture lose. They want to see our culture deplenish. They want to see our culture continue to just either get locked up or look like fools and this and then the other. They don't want to see us succeed. And to say that we've had a lot of growth, well, why isn't the fact that we can still continue to have so many? Oh, the first African American in this, the first female that, we still got growing to do, my friend. And it's nothing wrong with growth. That's what kills me. The more you know, the more you grow. Why don't you want to grow? Why wouldn't you want to grow? Everybody says, well, look, I want to continue to get another education. I want to get another degree to keep my brain fresh. Why? Because I just want to have a sharper mind. I want to educate myself more. Some people say, look, I want to continue to go to the gym. Why? Because I want to improve my health. Some people say, look, I want to continue to shop new clothes. Why? Because I want to improve my dress code. Some folks say, I want to continue to work hard. Why? So I can build up and increase my bank account. Everybody wants to grow, but why isn't that society doesn't want to grow when it comes to, I don't know, uh, uh, coming together as one and avoiding the issues that we have called racism, because that exists. I just read a article that happened in my hometown of Hampton Roads, in one of the local cities, Hampton, Virginia. A gentleman who was a landlord owned 62 properties. He's getting sentenced to 15 years in prison off of racial discrimination towards his minority tenants, charging more, BS charges, by the way, and just putting them in the worst living accommodations, not taking care of certain repairs. I mean, it's disgusting. It really is sickening. It is sickening. Um, yeah. I just want to vent off about this clown. I'm gonna keep on saying clown, 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 clown. Um, he then went goes on to say, well, is it since when do you hear people say um we can't make it if they don't, if they don't look like us, we there's no in charge of building if we can't. Who is saying this, Larry? Who is saying this stuff? No one. You are, because all it takes is but one idiot to spew up the paranoid group that will spread across social media, that will spread across the media, and now you're screwed. Because let's be honest, you got paranoid folks on both sides of the aisle, right and left. Good Lord, do you have your extremist groups? Y'all got some paranoid mofos out there. I've seen them a lot on social media. My platforms are on mostly conservative and also mostly liberal outlets, right? I'm a middle man. I'm an independent. So I'm around in all sorts of groups. The streaming platform where you can watch my show, Rumble, is predominantly conservative. look, I'm on X, which is seen that a lot of liberal voices has left the platform. I'm still there. Okay. I'm still there. I'm not leaving. About Blue Sky is fairly liberal. A lot of that's the liberal version of X now. I'm everywhere. And I've seen comments of what folks say. I'm like, goodness gracious, y'all getting a little too much now. Good Lord. What is that you just said there? I'm like, it's interesting, but I wanted to share this with you all because once again, if you ever hear commentary like that, please ignore it and just share with folks that this is not the norm. That what he's saying is not. Don't entertain it. Don't think that it's true. And it's a fact when they say not all skin folk is kinfolk. All righty, then let me go ahead and move it on. I just had to vent, y'all. I had to let it. Oh Lord, I had to just vent off about that. Let me move it on. Um, as I mentioned earlier in the show, that the Democratic Party is in the rebuilding stage, because hey, they suffered one of the biggest losses, at least in my lifetime, that I've witnessed the Democratic Party. This recent election, man, they took a huge L, and so they're in the rebuilding stage. A lot of folks are saying, "Hey, the Democratic Party is slowly but surely just crumbling down." And who is next in command to help rebuild the party? Some folks are saying, "Hey, is it Gavin Newsom, governor of California? Is it Governor Westmore of Maryland? Is it who are some other voices?" Yeah, that's pretty much it. Is it AOC, Congressman AOC? Is it, who is next? So they've uh Jamie Harrison, who is the well, now former DNC chair, has already said he's not running for reelection. And so he is there's a bidding war for his seat, as well as for vice chair, and one of those names that has entered in the campaign trail for that seat is the Parkland shooting survivor, David Hogg. Okay, David Hogg announced, or he mentioned that we can't win without young voters. Totally agree. That was my major issue, well, one of my biggest issues in politics, but one of my biggest issues with this recent election. Like, they did not rely on young people. They haven't relied on young people like they should. I will say, give the Republican Party credit. Donald Trump was on every single uh uh um young, predominantly young demographic podcast platform and show, some of the most corniest ones, but he's there doing his little dance and just having a blast talking nonsense, because let's be honest, a lot of young folks didn't know as far as the proper questions to ask a presidential candidate. No, there is nothing to ask Donald Trump. He is Bill Drape, Bill baby drill baby drill. All right, that's what we're gonna do, is just drill baby drill. Okay, good. All right, drill, drill it, drill baby drill. Mr. President, what do you have to say about such and such? Drill, baby, drill. What do you have to say about parking tickets? Drill, baby, drill. What do you have to say about Melania not wanting to move back into the White House? Drill, baby, drill. Like, that's all his answer is, drill, baby, drill. All right, let me digress from that. Um, Okay, yes, it says here, this is reported by The Guardian. Gun safety activists bidding for the DNC vice chair post. Party defends institutions when it needs to reform them. Says here that the survivor of Parkland shooting, David Hogg, turned gun safety and youth leadership advocate, has launched a bid for one of the Democratic National Committee's vice chair persons, arguing the party needs to move in a bolder and more anti-establishment direction as it braces for Donald Trump's return to the White House. Hogg announced recently that he would seek one of the party's top leadership posts, due in part to his frustration without lack of accountability and among prominent Democrats following Kamala Harris's loss in this recent presidential race. I quote, it says here, I'm trying to take the accountability myself and realize it does not make us weaker as a party, as a person, or excuse me, or as a person. Uh, it's an essential part of leadership, just talking about what we could have done differently so we can build a better future so that something like this never happens again. End quote. Hogg may face an uphill battle in claiming one of the committee's 4 vice chair posts when the party holds its leadership elections in February. At least 3 other candidates have already launched bids for vice chair seats. Joe Barbudo, chair of the Wyoming Democratic Party, uh, Shasti Conrad, chair of the Washington State Democrats, and James Zogby, a pro-Palestine advocate and longtime committee member. Now, it says here, Hogg, who co-founded the gun safety group March for Our Lives before creating the grassroots organization Leadership We Deserve, believes Democrats need fresh voices as the decision-making table to win back young voters. Totally agree, because you got to remember, young people was choosing to avoid voting in general. I know this because I spoke with a lot of them. More than I wanted to know that wasn't even gonna vote. They were just gonna vote local and then call it Christmas. Um, the lack of interest, the lack of education, the lack of it was just so many points that Democrats lacked to garner young voters. I spoke with one guy that said, well, I just don't get into politics, so I'm just not gonna choose to vote. Little does he know that he might not be into politics, but guess what? Politics is into you. You can avoid it all you want, but it's a part of your everyday life. If you are a taxpayer, it's a part of your everyday life. If you have health insurance, that's a part of your everyday life. People don't realize that. Um, and so we really, 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 really need, as young people, we have to, for one, ask the questions, but different parties, whether if it's Democratic, Republican, Libertarian, any parties, they need to be willing to provide us with the proper information and not just the BS talking points that's like, we're here because we are the party of the people. We are here for because we're the party of the working class. We're here because we're the party of this and that. Like, please, please save it. Put it in layman's terms. Give us details. Like, talk policy and not titles of bills. Like, it's just it's the same old same old. And I can't stand it, because that's what, in my opinion, turns a lot of people away, because they're like, well, it's the same. That's why a lot of folks did not choose to vote, because they're just like, well, it's the same old same old. What makes this candidate better than the last one? What promises is this candidate going to prove or going to make like the other ones? Like, what is a waste of my time? I gotta wait in line. I gotta do this, do that. Like, what is the deal? What is the deal? So I'm all for seeing young people stand up and fight and say, look, you need more young voters, because young voters are the future. I'm sorry, but Nancy Pelosi fell and broke a hip. I said it before, if it was young people and they fell, they might have a little ow, ow, got a little bruise here, but I'm fine. I'm not, it's okay. I just need to ice it or just chill. No, Nancy had to get a whole new hip. All right. You got James Clyburn. You got um Bernie Sanders up there. You got Mitch McConnell. You got tons of old people. I'm sorry, Elizabeth Warren. Um, hell, even our Congressman Bobby Scott, who's a legend in the Hampton Roads area. He's been serving the state of Virginia for years. He's in his early mid 70s. He's very sharp, don't get me wrong, but I just think that that shouldn't be the norm, where there's just career politicians. You need to have fresh new voices. You need to have young people that is very passionate with new ideas, new brighter ideas. You got our freaking former president Joe Biden falling asleep on phone calls and conversations. I mean, it's despicable. It's disgraceful. It's a disservice to voters out there, for you, for citizens who are taxpayers. It's a disservice where you see House and Senate, literally looking like an assistant living home. I mean, it's ridiculous. Um, it says here that in 2018, young voters preferred Democrats by a 35% a 35-point margin, according to analysts from Tufts University Center of Information and Research on Civic Learning and Engagement. Now, in 2024, the margin fell to just 4 points. The center found. Another quote I read here: "This is a crisis we cannot win without young voters." And I think it's become evidence. It's become evidently clear that it is time for young people to have a real place in the party, and not just symbolic ones, but an actual position of power. Uh, Hawk has several ideas about how Democrats lost not only the White House, but also both chambers of Congress in November elections. He criticized Democrat leaders for creating an echo chamber within the party, leaving them disconnected from voters. Top concerns, priorities like inflation. Let's be honest. Democrats lack when it comes to strategy, right? They lack when they talk on their accomplishments. Everybody thinks that the Republican Party is the party of money. And look, can you blame them? They have a great track record. Why? Because you don't hear Democrats talk about theirs. Democrats are known for doing a hella spending. Prove me wrong, Democrats, because I don't hear y'all talking that, oh, that's not us. You got it all wrong. No. Hogg is saying right here, inflation is what won the election. You all assumed that women's reproductive rights was going to take you all the way to the top. And guess what? It didn't even take you to the dang on second step. All right. It didn't even take you halfway. And that was your full-on strategy. That was a huge loss, my friends. Huge, huge loss. Let me see here. Another quote I'm about to read, it says here, when people are feeling like the economy is not going well, our message should be, no, you don't understand. Look at how much worse off all these other countries are in the G7. It comes down to making sure that we are not choosing to live in a comfortable delusion and actively choosing to live in an uncomfortable reality where we might actually be able to win. Let me tell you something. Maybe Hogg might be onto something. Get him some time working in the DNC. He might even say, I might just run for all. He could. He honestly could. He could skip over doing this crap, working with the party, and just run for office. I had a friend of mine, political and legal analyst, Dr. Eric Lavelle, and I spoke with him, with the transitioning of both, top tier parties, the Democrat and the Republican Party, like it's a growth of the third party movement. I mean, I'm just saying, Hogg could. I want to see third parties continue to rise. I mean, the Libertarian Party had a huge, had some big numbers. Obviously, they didn't win, but I mean, to have your candidate on 48 ballots and write in on the on the following 3 or following 2, that's major. That is major stuff right there. Let me digress from this. Look, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. I gotta take a quick breather, my friends. And we'll be right back with more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Do not go anywhere. We have a lot more to discuss here on the program. We'll be right back.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
Welcome back, my friends. Look, last up, I want to talk about let's go ahead and move it on to sports. So recently, it's been a lot of news with former NFL QB Teddy Bridgewater. So I mentioned before that, he became once he retired, he became a high school football coach. Specifically, he was working as more of an assistant coach, and then he went on, to win the position as head football coach. And so, just so I can give you a little backstory of his NFL career, just to kind of remind you who this gentleman was. Teddy played for a total of 10 seasons, came out of Louisville, University of Louisville. He was drafted in 2014. Let's see here. Played for a few teams. The last team he played for was the Detroit Lions, where they went on that historic run in the playoffs. He became the head football coach for Miami Northwestern High School. He's a one-time Pro Bowler. He went on to having a spectacular season with them. When I say spectacular, in his inaugural season, he took them to a championship game. They end up winning that game 41-0. Now, there was some hiccups happening on their way there to that game, because I think that at the time there was some rumors about recruitment issues, or if these players are really eligible to play, or if they're of age, and this and then the other, with the whole transfers and this and then the other. Like, it's a lot of game that happens in high school sports. But obviously he continued on, and everything was all fine. Now, he ended up winning that state championship title 41-0, and he was on TV, and they had recently interviewed him in regards to, hey, that success and what's next for Teddy Bridgewater. So let me go ahead and find that soundbite for you, and then we'll talk on the other side.
Okay, that leads us to the final question here, which is your first year out. You said you wanted to prove you could coach high school football. Anything else you want to prove you can do? College football, NFL football? Like, where's Coach Teddy going to be going here in years to come?
Coach Teddy, hopefully, we'll see how these next week and a half, 2 weeks play out. Might be signing with a team or something, and then returning back to coach high school football in February. So we'll see.
Well, hold up. No, don't bury the lead on us now. Are you coming back? Are you headed somewhere?
Hey, that's the plan, man. My team know that's the plan. We wanted to win a state championship, and then coach go back to the league, see what happens, and then come back February in the offseason, continue coaching high school football. So we'll see how it plays out.
So real quick, Dave, that leads us.
So I don't know if y'all kind of grasp what he had said. He said that everybody knew what the plan was. I was gonna, do this, do that, coach, and then I'll be back coaching football come this period. And I'm just like, wait, what? So either he is they obviously mentioned that, he's made the announcement he wants to return to the NFL. Now look, 10 years, still great career, but for quarterbacks, that's extremely short, which means he still has a lot of years left to play. He's just 32 years old, not an old guy at all. Now, obviously, the body has taken some hits, because you're talking about playing all the way from little league all the way to professional, right? Because I added up. look, my body hurt, and all I did was play high school. Junior year, that was that was my my limit. I stopped after after high school. Um, but he won a state title. He got his championship. So is he saying that he wants to return only in the playoff run and then, succeed there, however that goes? Then come, like, what are we doing here, Teddy? What are we doing here? Uh, as a seeing the league, I mean, I can see a squad that can really use him. He's an athletic QB. Like I said, he's 32. He's probably still trains. The high school coaching is fun for him. Right? He's having a lot of fun, but it's great. It's a great education. It's a great way to get your feet wet, to have an understanding, because we're starting to see a lot of the post players leaning on into coaching. We see it in basketball. We see it in all sports. But obviously he's has a good strategy. If you start winning championship games 41-0, like, you got a squad. Now, could that be the fact that, hey, look, they just say, I want to play for Teddy Bridgewater because he played in the NFL. I have his jerseys. I played him in my video games. Like, I want to play for him. But it seems like he might be returning, which is, hey, it's not a bad thing at all. If you you still have a passion for it, if you know you can still go, be my guest. Prove yourself. Do the leave, coach high school, win a championship, and then come back and play. Like, that is a dope career shift. There's a lot of coaches out there that are former pro football players now coaching, that is still trying to find their niche. Jason Witten, I think, coaches high school. I think he's been successful. I think back-to-back state titles. Trent Dilfer, former QB Super Bowl champ, that won one with the Baltimore Ravens. He went into high school coaching, and I think he grew to go in the on the collegiate level. I've mentioned on the last show, we see Michael Vick now joining the Norfolk State Spartans in the HBCU college football. Eddie George, Deion Sanders at the top. Like, so many folks are just going into coaching, and I'm all for it, man. I'm for it. I love it. I love it because it's like, okay, not everybody is just going to go to commentating. People actually want to pursue coaching, and again, it's the shift. It is the shift, and the narrative shift, and the progress of just our society right now. Now my question for you all is, if Teddy comes out of retirement, what teams do you think needs a QB? Um, you know, I look at it as Cleveland might need some help because you have Deshaun Watson out for the season. I don't know how he will look for his return. You have uh the Carolina Panthers. You have the let me see. Maybe Atlanta, New Orleans, uh 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 the Las Vegas Raiders. Like, there's so many squads that need a QB. I'll be honest. I mean, maybe if he just takes the mentoring role as a second string, but I truly think that he can try out for some squads, because there's some teams out there that needs some assistance on the quarterback role. I was about to say Philly, Chicago. I mean, there's so many. There's the list goes on and on. But my friends, as always, time flies by so fast. I want to thank you all for sticking with me for this past hour here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Be sure to continue to follow us on all digital and streaming platforms. Follow us on Instagram at the Arrington Gavin Show. Be sure to listen to us Monday through Fridays at 11 p.m. on WDJY 99.1 FM, as well as on our YouTube channel, our Smooth Club Media, and on all wherever you get your podcast. You can listen to the Arrington Gavin Show. Again, we drop new episodes Monday through Fridays, weeknights, wherever you get your platforms. So take care. God bless, my friends. I will see you next time. Peace.